Yeah.
It's that you have to come up with a very stringent, robust approach for
Mm.
one commodity. And
Okay.
then it's just like copy, you just have to replicate that approach for all the other ones. So the first one, like from 0 to 1, is the most difficult, and then 1 to 10 is easy,
Okay.
is the 0 to 1.
So you
Yeah.
mentioned like, this like these projects and all that. This is like one of what do we call a blockade, like a roadblock towards you receiving a PPO. So can you describe a specific project that that you performed exceedingly well, and that was the result that you got a PPO, a specific project or something like that? Hello everyone, this is Kishirja Bedi. I'm your host for today. This podcast is hosted by Skilled Sapiens, and today we have with us Samrudhi Pingle. She's an alumni of SIB Pune, and she just received a PPO from Tata International. So, hello Samrudhi, we are very happy to have you on board.
Hello, Kshija. Likewise, I'm very happy to be here.
So, how's your day going? It's Monday, weekday blues, right?
Not really. I mean, there were certain things that I had in mind, and so far, smooth sailing. So everything is on time and we're rolling. So I'm happy with my Monday.
So, really, really good for you. So, okay, so let's start with the questions.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So tell us more about the company you just received your PPO from, and what was the process for you to receive your PPO?
Okay. So I received my PPO through my summer internship at Tata International. It was a 2-month internship, and I interned in the corporate strategy team. So, like, corporate strategy is not really like a line function. It's not a commercial function. It's a non-commercial function. So it basically, like, strategy is like long term. You make a plan for the company long term in order to maximize profits, the kind of
Yeah.
businesses they should invest more into, or things that they should stay away from, stuff like that. Tata International as such, when you talk about it, its business operations, it has like three major business functions. So one is manufacturing, second is distribution, and third is trading. So that's commodity trading. So when you talk about manufacturing, it's like Tata International manufactures these bicycles called Strider. Then there is they also manufacture, like they do a white labeling, which is like they will sort of manufacture the product and then label will be of some other brand, and then the other brand will sell it as theirs. So they do it for like leather products, they do it for like shoes, and they and stuff like that. And distribution is like more or less it's related to vehicles, like transportation of vehicles. And commodity trading is that they are operating in a variety of different commodities which are traded internationally. So like there is like you source the commodity,
Mm-hmm.
and certain traders sell the commodity, and then the margin that you earn, that's like the revenue for the company.
Okay.
So when I was interning, of course, I was interning in the strategy team. So strategy gives you basically an overview and an overall idea of the business functions, because you have to know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the project given to me was to map the trade flow of commodities of interest for Tata International. Like, of course, I mean, of all the commodities that are traded in the world, Tata International does not trade all of them, but the commodities of interest, like the commodities that they actively do trade in. So I
Mm-hmm.
had to map the trade flow. Now, why is that important with respect to strategy? Is that a trade flow is basically for any commodity, there are certain regions of abundance, meaning those regions which produce the commodity in bulk, or in excess, in surplus basically. And there are regions of demand which like have a shortage of those. So
Mm-hmm.
then the trade flow is like that particular region of abundance to the particular region of demand. So
Okay.
that flow of the commodity is its trade flow. So then that differs. Like, for example, if India sort of exports certain variety of rice,
Yeah.
right? Suppose we export this rice to a particular country. So then the trade route becomes like, from suppose it's from India to China. So it's suppose India's basmati rice. So then
Right.
India to China, and via whatever path it goes. So that's the trade flow. So then you map it, and you map the different trade flows, like the majority of trade flows for a consecutive number of years, not just 1 year, for a certain commodity. And then the different trade flows from A to X country, like you will have A to X, B to Y, C to Z, and so
Yeah.
on. We'll have various other trade flows. So then you analyze these trade flows over a certain number of years, and then you come up with what can be an emerging trade flow, what can be a declining trade, or like a shrinking trade flow, or what can be a very active trade flow. Like consecutively, if it is active, then it's a most active trade flow. If something was not active before and now there is a potential that the trade along that trade flow, that route has increased, so then that is an emerging trade flow where the business should probably try to be present or try to get invested in. And if the business is already present in a particular trade flow but the trade along that flow has reduced, then
Hmm.
it's a shrinking trade flow, and probably the business should also move out of it and then focus into the emerging flows in order to maximize. So that was the whole process. But again, I was a student. At the time, I was a student of MBA International Business, so I was mostly drawn towards the international operations of the company, which was mostly about like trading. And of course, I also hold a postgraduate diploma in foreign trade. So all these things came naturally to me. Like I understood them quite well as compared to my peers, because I had a certain level of exposure to it. That's all. And I genuinely was interested in it too. So overall, when I started understanding the business operations, I would talk to traders. I would talk to the actual commodity traders for that particular commodity in order to understand it. That why, but so for a particular commodity, you can get a variety of countries as the regions of abundance. So I would like just try to talk to them that why is it that this region? Because when you analyze data, I used to use like all these databases to get international trade data. So databases can just give you numbers. They can't give you the reason, the logic behind it. That comes from your practical knowledge. And that is, of course, practical knowledge. I will have no practical knowledge of it because I'm so new. But people who are trading,
Experience.
right? People who are, yes, first hand doing it, they
Yeah.
know that why this country is a region of abundance, why this country is a region of shortage, because everything depends on what it requires to manufacture that commodity, or what the commodity is used for, and then the region of demand will depend on it. So I thought that doing all of this, interacting with people, and not just traders but also senior management, like there used to be certain positions which were in the senior management. But if you sort of get over these apprehensions of nervousness and this feeling, right, that probably I don't know enough about this to go and ask them a question like that. Yeah, what if this is a stupid question? When you do that, when you're like really cool and calm and very candid
Yeah.
about it and very transparent about it, that I don't understand this, can you tell me, can you help me out? When
Yeah.
you do that, then the other person is they sort of respect you first of all
Like,
for admitting to it, and then they tell you. So now you have gained their respect and also the knowledge that you did not have
definitely.
before, and then
Instead
you have
of
like better doubts
definitely, and instead of,
to ask.
mumbling and excuse, acting like, a know-all, it's better to always come forward and ask your doubt, because people actually do gain respect for because they know that if you don't understand anything, you're going to definitely ask
Yes,
question.
yes, yes.
So
So
that's
you're not just the type who just shakes their
not
head for
wrong.
everything.
I
Yeah.
know, not a know-all. No one likes a know-all, let's be very honest. And
Yes,
also, I
yes.
love the fact that you're so passionate about what you're doing, because, like, now I get why the company chose you, or for all the interns. You're so passionate about what you're doing. You know what you're doing. That's a rare quality, because a lot of peers that I know, they are like stuck into the roles, they're just not happy, the whole corporate. But you're
Yeah,
definitely so passionate
correct.
about your work. So that's admirable.
So yeah, I think I was just like I was probably one of the luckier ones to sort of get a role that aligned with my previous, not the kind
Experience.
of yeah, experience and whatever sort of
Like
professional
you have already
education that I
studied
had
before,
received.
right?
Yes, yes. So I was one of the
Right.
luckier ones, and I'm right. Like you're right. I mean, it doesn't work out for everyone.
Yes,
So
definitely.
then it's like you still have to try to find a balance between what you want to do and what you get to do, and
Yeah,
then
definitely. And
manage
now that
accordingly.
you have something that you're so passionate about, work is not work for you, right?
Yes, yes,
Definitely,
you're right.
that's a
Yeah,
rare quality, to be honest. So lucky you. And I
definitely.
don't think so. I mentioned this, but congratulations for your PPO.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay,
How
so
sweet. Thank you.
you mentioned in the beginning that you first got an internship and through that you converted that you received a PPO offer. So what was the interview process for the internship? Not the PPO, for the internship that you did, the 2 month summer
Yeah,
internship. What was the process for that? So can you?
yes, sure. So the interview basically, they asked me questions mostly based on my CV. So
Okay.
one thing is that some people tend to do, like, they tend to put everything that they've ever done in their CV. So it's like a
Definitely.
very big fat shining CV. But
Yes.
what happens is when you're actually asked very specific questions about most of the things that are mentioned in the CV, then it becomes a problem because there's no chance that you remember everything that you ever studied.
Definitely.
So yeah, so they grilled me. I am going to use the word grilled me, even though I know it's like very
Yeah.
informal to use the word, but that's pretty much what they did. The questions were very specific, and to every question, I had an answer, and to every one of my answer, they had a question in return. So that is how, yeah, it was very intense. So like
Grueling.
the interview,
Yeah.
so so much so that they even asked me very specific questions related to the overall knowledge that I have, even of my hobbies that I had mentioned in the CV.
Okay.
So I was also asked about my hobbies, that where did you learn this, what do you know about this, how often do you practice it, and then certain current affairs questions related to that.
Yeah.
So one thing is that there is also like a skill mapping is what is done, right? They will try to
Definitely. Yeah.
understand professionally how aligned you are to the role, and then personally how aligned you are. So then that depends on your HR questions, your personality type, how you are as a person to work with. So they assess all of it. So once they started asking me questions related to foreign trade or international business, and
Yeah.
I like did more than okay.
Okay.
So they realized that, yeah, she probably knows about the, the education
Mhm.
stuff. She's clear with that. Now let's assess how she's as a person, and then all the other questions. Like I was also asked, a what if scenarios. Like they give you a scenario, and what if, like, this is the situation, what would you do then? So that is to assess, like, how do you think as a person, what do you think is the right thing, like ethically, what choices do you make? So you go through all of that, and once you're ready, like in general, if you're ready for an interview, if you're confident enough, I think like it's easy. Like right now, I remember it being difficult only because now I think about it in, retrospection. But
Yeah.
when it was actually happening and in the moment, it went quite smoothly. I mean, I'm sure that it happens to you too.
Definitely, like some of the points that you mentioned, regarding, that you should not add points that you're not confident about in your CV, because I have noticed this trend that a lot of people tend to add some certifications or, for example, a certification or something in their CV, and when a company comes and they like, they are grueling, like they are, going through your CV, they are like, going through your CV and asking you questions regarding that. You can't answer those questions until unless you have actually done something. So even when you're
And
adding,
you're absolutely sure about it.
sure about it, and when you're even adding your
Yeah.
little hobbies, like even if you're mentioning dancing, then you should be very specific of what kind of dance were you
Yes.
into and all.
Correct.
So that's a very, something that every viewer should be very careful about if you're, planning to apply for a job, or if you're going to edit your CV, because this is actually a very important part. So what challenges did you face in your internship that you overcame and then were able to receive a PPO?
Correct. So challenges is that number one is understanding exactly what the project demands.
Okay.
Because most of the time, you're given a very open-ended subject, like for the project, like the title of the project that is assigned to you, it's very open-ended. So like you have to sort of figure out what exactly can be done with it, so
Yes.
in a way that it sort of aligns with what the business would want, like how it can help the business.
Mm-hmm.
Get it?
Yes.
So one was that, like they just told me to map trade flows, but
Mm.
like mapping is fine, but it's the classification of those trade flows that will probably give some insights to the company. So
Definitely.
then I did that. Like there was this corporate buddy, every internship that you have,
Yeah.
you are assigned a mentor and you're assigned a buddy from within the company. So like the buddy that was assigned to the project, he and I were brainstorming over this, and then we came up with this like approach to the project. So if you genuinely seek out for guidance, of course, like I mean, as an intern, the people who will be assigned to help you out will be so much more experienced than you, right? So it's only when you start a conversation with them can they help you.
Yes,
So
yes.
there's that one challenge, that to sort of navigate how exactly can we get good insights. Then the second is like, where do you start?
Okay.
Because then there's this one thing that my corporate buddy and I would also discuss, that once you have a proper well defined approach,
Mhm.
you can do it for various other things, like because for every commodity the same approach.
Yeah.
It's that you have to come up with a very stringent, robust approach for
Mm.
one commodity, and
Okay.
then it's just like copy, you just have to replicate that approach for all the other ones. So the first one, like from 0 to 1, is the most difficult, and then 1 to 10 is easy,
Okay.
is the 0 to 1.
So you
Yeah,
mentioned like, this like these projects and all that. This is like one of what do we call a blockade, like a roadblock towards you receiving a PPO. So can you describe a specific project that that you performed exceedingly well, and that was the result that you got a PPO, a specific project or something like that?
yeah. So like I said, like the project that was assigned to me, the mapping the trade flows for commodities of interest
Yes.
for Tata International, it was the one. And because see, it sounds like a very like a simple, I mean, how difficult can trade flow mapping be? So it's like once you, which is what I thought initially,
Mhm.
then there was like few other papers that they gave me to refer to understand exactly what trade flows is. So the first week I just spent understanding what each of the terms of the title meant. So like that is how much clear you have to be, otherwise you were just researching and not really getting anything out of it, which happened to certain other people who were assigned their projects. So
Okay.
I am not, the whole thing is that probably their approach was different as compared to mine. That's just like an outlook can be different, right? How you want to proceed, then there's that.
Okay. So, these like you mentioned that you should be very, very aware of some terms. I feel like these keywords are, they play a very integral part, in understanding something or being able to perform well. So I guess that's how you demonstrated your potential for the company, and that's how they were able to grasp, this candidate is someone
Correct.
permanently. So that's nice.
Yeah.
So, what feedback what feedback did you receive from a mentor or from someone, a superior of yours in the company that you feel like really helped you and brought you a long way towards this PPO?
Yeah, so there was a certain, super, an employee, but he was, I mean, from the senior management. So we had like the HR would always try to connect, like, set connects between the interns and any employees, who might be able to give us insights about the company. So we had one such connect with this particular sir. So he was asking us certain questions, and given the fact that he was in charge, like I mean, his business operation mostly were around international business, so I could like easily answer most of the questions. So he was quite impressed by it. So there was this one Friday where I was working till late, and I had certain doubts. So I needed certain codes from him in order to, get some data from the database. And I used to work on weekends. So we have weekends off, but I used to work from like at home. I would work. So one more thing is that you want a PPO, you work hard,
Work hard.
and then you party harder later. Once you get the PPO, then you party harder then. So I thought that, by Friday, if I have the codes, then I know exactly what data to get. And then I'll sort of I'll clean the data and I'll organize the data over the weekend. So I went to him. It was around like 6 o'clock. I thought I'll just take the code from him and I'll leave. And he was in a meeting. So he told me, Samrudhi, wait, I'll just, ping you on Teams and then you come and meet me. Uh, so I was waiting, and then while I was waiting, it was like around 8:15 or so. By the time he was done with his his own meeting, and then he texted me. So I found him, and so he's like, okay, chalo, batao, what exactly do you want from me? So I said, no, I just wanted the code for this commodity. So he's like, that's all that you wanted. So I said, yes. So like, then you should have told me before. I said, no, you like, sir, you told me that you're in a meeting. So because I figured that there was an important conversation going on, so I waited. So then he's like, Are, it's Friday. Go enjoy. Go and party with your friends. What are you doing? You're making me feel or younger than you are. So yeah. So I told him, no, no, sir. I want to really give everything to this project because I'm looking for an offer from this company. Yeah. So he's like, I use the word PPO. So he's like, what's that? So I said, sir, it's like a pre-placement offer. So he's like, no, 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 define the term for me. So I said, so pre-placement offer is when they're like so impressed with your internship work that they give you a full-time, like an offer for a full-time role at the company without you having to sit through any placement processes. So he's like, तो ऐसे फ्राइडे को रुक रुक के मिलेगा पीपीओ. So I said, sir, that's what I'm hoping. So he's like, अरे नहीं, ये सब तो बाद में यही करना है, फ्राइडे में लेट बैठना है, मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, वही कर रहा हूँ, अभी तो तुम्हारी उम्र है. So he's like, go, have fun, go डेट पे जाओ, ये करो वो करो. I was very sweet. So he told me पीपीओ चाहिए ना, वो तो हो जाएगा, तुम जिस तरह से काम कर रही हो, I think that there's a good chance that you might be able to bag it. It all depends upon your final day, how well you present and all. So I said, yes, sir, thank you. I'm hoping for the same. And then this sir, so much so as went and talked, like discussed about my performance, about me being like bright and curious about all of this, to the people who were mentoring me too. Like, people do take an interest in you so long as you take efforts to sort of be noticed. So then there is like this one incident that I would want to share, because that sort of really motivated me. Like, when someone so senior to you takes a special interest and notices all these professional things about you, so it's really very sweet of him, and it makes you work harder, right?
And having a supportive senior in a corporate environment or in a school or a college is very motivating because we can
It's a
actually
blessing.
them, we can learn from their mistakes, or we can learn from their achievements. So that's always a very
Correct.
important part of an organization, to have supportive seniors. Personally, I feel like that. And your sir, like, he sounds so lively, he sounds so, he connects with you.
Yes.
Like a age gap or something, but the way he's connecting with his juniors, his subordinates, is something that is very makes you want to be a part of that healthy in my corporate environment. That's
Correct. 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 Hmm.
what is a factor for you in joining this company, their healthy environment and the supportive seniors.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
Also, like, so this is like one of the key, what are the key standouts that the company notices in you? Like, you did mention that, your qualities and all, but what do you think, like, where did you stand out from the interns? Like, I know
Hmm.
that you got a project that you perform very well on. I get the fact that connect with your seniors, that your seniors see as you as someone who's hardworking and bright. But what do you feel like was the number one factor other than these?
Yeah. So number one factor was that I networked with so many people by my own self. Like, I would take out a pen and a diary, which I had like my personal diary. So I would just go and sit down and I would tell them, I'm actually thinking of all the roles, over here, and I'm thinking of your role as a serious opportunity for me. So tell me, what is it like to be, an employee performing this role at Tata International? And I would just open my diary and I would just like sit and write this down. So I would do this like to 10, yeah, yeah, 10, 12 people throughout the day, and they would remember, because in that discussion, overall, while they will tell you your personal experiences, they will talk about the business. And once you say, oh yes, I know this, then they're like, oh, you know this, so they are also impressed. One thing is that nobody remembers, when you intern at such a big, a big organization with such a good brand name. People don't really remember interns. Like the sort of um interns have a very less shelf life. They come like and go, like within 2 months or so. So nobody remembers you. But when there comes a person, yes, and even when they're so temporary over there and then they have an impact, that really means a lot. So I think it's because of all the various teams, there was always someone who remembered me. And not, maybe some of them remembered me by my name, maybe some of them remembered me as, oh, the tall intern, but they always, there was something about me. Yeah, there was something about me that they remembered. So when I was big, and all of this showed up, that people would notice that, of all interns, uh, she's the only one who goes around and talks to people all day. So she tries to network, and it comes to her by her own self. It's not like someone is forcing her to do it. Whereas there used to be, like, there were a few interns who were specifically told to do so, but they would still not do it because, like, there's this apprehension that how is this related to my project? Why should
Definitely.
I do it? I mean, yeah, it's just a waste of time. Nothing. Networking, yeah, networking is never a waste of time. I mean, that recall value, no, that people remember you. Who are you? Yeah, I mean, your date to join and your date to leave were decided before you got here. Like, your time here is so temporary. I mean, the most that you can make is that the people remember you. It doesn't matter if, yeah, it's not really related even to the upper management or so, right? It's like everyday people, they remember you.
And you have so many interns working there. I feel like you have to stand out, or else, you won't be remembered. Because I like
Correct.
discussion of whom to, permit, offer a PPO and whatever their process is. You need someone to vouch for you. You need someone to, speak up like, okay, this intern was, stood out. She did this, did that. So that's a very,
Correct.
our viewers and even us for me for that factor, because I'm going to pay for my interviews next year. I will like definitely remember this, if I intern, like how to stand out, how to connect with people.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very important fact, and that's a very helpful fact that you voiced out, because a lot of people don't realize the importance of this
Correct. Yeah.
for that. And okay, so like now let's come to the interesting part. What was your reaction? What was the initial reaction when you were offered the PPO? How excited were you? Where were you? What was like, how did you feel in that moment?
When I was so initially when all the PPOs and all started coming in, like from various companies that my classmates had interned in, I was really nervous that will I even manage to get. So PPO, when you get a direct offer, that is subject to the fact that you will continue to work in the same team as you were doing before, right? So some of them, people often do this, that as interns, we just assume that, Are, yahan pe to I don't see a chance for any vacancy, so why should I even do well? But so what if, like, they decide to assign you some other team based on some other sets that you've shown?
Definitely.
Right. So you never take anything for granted. You never assume things. You, like, that's the worst thing that you can do. That simply because you don't see an opportunity right now, to just let it go. Because had I done that, because I never got a PPO directly. They gave me an interview, they mapped my skills, and then they sort of gave me an offer. So I have a good chance I've been assigned to a team which is not the same team as before, which is why they gave me an interview first. So then, when I got the result for the PPI, I was like, wow, this is like a very good chance. And everything that I thought about was, no matter what, I want to convert this interview. I mean, like, this is that one moment, like, this interview is what I worked, I worked so hard for 2 months. So I was very happy. And I was very, Yes, and I was very nervous also because, had they given me a direct PPO, of course, like the happiness level would have been the same, but mine is the nervousness because now you already have it. When it's an interview that you have to convert, it's like there's that sword hanging again, that
That's
what if you don't? Huh?
yeah.
What if you don't? So I was very happy and I was nervous too. And then the interview happened. Then the interview, like the PPI also went quite well. And when I got the offer, I remember that the this member of our place com college place com, he called me. And then when he told me, I was like, really, thank you so much. And I was so happy. I remember I was like, I felt like I was the happiest man. I mean, the happiest person on this earth. And I was like thankful and just had so much gratitude for everything and to myself also, because I realized that all those 2 months, no, uh, Kishirja, I saw my classmates really having fun. Like they were all, some of them were really like full workaholics, and some of them were so eased out. No, like they did internship like, मतलब 9 to 5 सिर्फ 9 to 5 ही जाएंगे, उसके आगे हम कुछ नहीं करेंगे.
You
So
were
you
working
feel,
your
yeah,
job, like you were working hard.
correct, correct. Yeah, and that's like the first time I got exposed to any big, a corporate, a business as such. So all of those experiences, and I felt so grateful even to myself that I made the right decision to, be committed to the project, to everything, and to grow all of that. And then of course all my mentors and people who had helped me and stuff. So I was like really really happy. And then there's also this big, that one stress, no, I'm
Okay.
finally placed. Like my MBA is almost like, I mean, the when it comes to the placement part, I did it. So there's that one big mountain of stress that just you can nicely place aside.
That's
So
like
I was
that.
like, really,
That sounds really, impactful and helpful on you. Like I can imagine your excitement, your reaction. You worked very hard for 2 months, while others might be lacking or having fun. And
hmm,
that FOMO is something, we often experience, that wasn't having fun, I'm working so hard. But then your hard work paid off, right? Look where you are,
yeah,
happy.
yeah,
So that's good for you. So like, okay, so now like this is the last question. So what advice do you have for your, juniors who are going to appear for interviews this year or next year? Like what advice do you have for them?
yeah. So first things first, of course, like I said, your CV, less is more. That's like, that is one thing that I believe when it comes to your CV, and when it comes to, you taking questions from the panel. Less is more. So long as you're able to convey whatever you want to, even less words in less time is a good thing. Second thing is that people always, like, I see a lot of people also ask me that this confidence and nervousness, and these become like really important problems for some people. So that is where they sort of that particular thing holds them back from brushing up and polishing up on their interpersonal skills. So all of this, I think, because I used to be very shy before. Like there was a time that I used to feel shy for asking the simplest of questions.
I don't
So
believe
once you, yeah, I know, right? I know that's what people tell me, but then I mean, like, that's how it is. So one day I just woke up and I realized that I just like told myself, Samruddhi, you have to, like, let go of this notion that you don't know enough.
definitely.
So what? And even if you don't know enough, that's not the end of the world. Once you get over that, no, then it's like you can talk, you can interact, and you can, yeah, make the most of the conversation. Apart from that, like I already discussed before, never take anything for granted, never assume anything. Always, because see, what the worst thing that can happen is that they won't give you a job, right? But you will learn so much more if you are serious about whatever internship job role that you've taken. If you're genuinely serious about it, you do learn a lot more. Because at the time, I'll tell you one thing, I was not sure whether there was any vacancy in the team,
Oh yeah, you
but I
mentioned.
still wanted to do, yeah, I was not sure about the fact that there is a vacancy. But I thought, if I'm here, uh, I mean, like, this is a chance so many of my other classmates would not be getting. So why not make the most of it and learn the most? So when it comes to interviews, like I said, confidence, where your confidence when it comes to working, make sure that you sort of work hard, are concentrated, and network. Well, lastly, I will tell you that networking is so important. It gives you not just contacts, but it exposes you to so many other things, right? I mean, had I not moved out of the team that was assigned to me, there's so many other things that I wouldn't have known. Probably I wouldn't even have received the PPI and then converted it to an offer, because I was anyway not, yeah, given an offer in the same team. So it is because that I wanted to know more and expand my possibilities and expand the things that I know. All these small things go a long way. And one last,
But
yeah.
hard work never lets you down, because see, you worked hard in a specific environment. So they liked you, and they knew that they wanted to have you in their company. So they basically created a position for you, or adjusted you somewhere. So that's like, hard
Yeah.
work, like,
Yes, yes,
never disappoint.
yes. Yeah. And one last thing is that you have to, no matter how much efforts you put into it, you also have to be open to the fact that it still might not be enough. Like
Right.
there is a possibility, because you, for example, this was an individual project, like, right? But there were 10 other people to decide how I did, like, how good a job I did. So there is a possibility that not all 10 of them might find it impressive. There can be, which happened to me, that like 1 or 2 weeks before my final review, I was told to make drastic changes within the approach of the project. And an approach in one commodity, like a change in the approach of one commodity, means it had to be followed throughout all the other commodities. So it took so much time, and then it can totally happen that your project can go upside down and a lot of things can change. And instead of panicking, if you just find the confidence, the strength to be like, I'll do it, I got this. Like that's what you have to tell yourself, I got this. So you have to be open to the fact, because at that time, till that time, I thought, it's going well, I'll manage. And then came that bomb, and then yeah, my world just like, yeah, it exploded. And then I was like, whoa, this is bad. But then, eventually I did overcome it. Yeah,
Work.
so you have to be open to the fact that criticism will follow no matter how good a job you do, and you never know when you will be asked to make really, really, really big changes, and you have to be that agile. You have to be that agile. That okay, sir, okay, ma'am, I'll do it. I'll try to do it. Yeah,
I know constructive criticism is always useful, to be honest. Like I have,
definitely.
like, if in my experience, like if someone criticized me constructively, like not just pointing out what I did wrong, but if they're adding something, you can do this way. It's always helpful. It helps you grow, because without constructive criticism, we're basically doing what we were doing initially, right? We're not growing.
Yes, there's no growth.
And
Right, right,
in your experience, I feel like the main point for you were like helpful mentors, people who actually guided you. So that's a very
right.
I'm happy that you found a very healthy working environment for yourself. So that's rare,
Thank you so much.
but good. So okay, I guess that's a wrap. So okay, thank you so much, guys, for joining us for today's podcast. A big thank you to you, Samriddhi, for being an incredible guest and sharing your expertise and insights. It will actually help a lot of people who are preparing for interviews, or plan to appear for interview, because actually I gained a lot from this session as well. So thank you so much. And to all our listeners out there, your support means everything to us. If you enjoyed today's discussion, be sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a review. Thank you, guys.